I enjoy tracking the details of my workouts. So if I'm running, trail running, hiking, biking, walking, or something else, I usually have a Garmin, a Polar, Coros, or an Apple Watch on my wrist. Now, earlier this year, I did take a look at the G-SHOCK HBD-2000 watch, and something has recently changed to actually make that watch possible to serve as my full-time GPS sports watch. Hello everybody, this is Matthew Miller, otherwise known as Palm Solo, and I'm coming to you with an update. This isn't a full review or anything else, but I thought it was worth revisiting the G-SHOCK HBD-2000 watch. Now, this was a watch that was released earlier this year, and I posted a video on it, a written review as well, and I liked the orange color in particular, which I'm a big fan of orange, but there was a lot to like in this watch, right? This is a typical Casio G-SHOCK watch, so it has that rugged looks and everything else. Long battery life, it's solar powered. Now when you use GPS and things for running, you really need to use the cable to charge it up because it does consume a lot more battery with that. Now, back when I did this review, right, it was pretty new that it had partnered, Casio had partnered with Polar, and the sleep tracking, the nightly recharge, running status, VO2 max kind of part of it, that was all powered by Polar technology, which was great. One thing is when I tested that watch and I compared it with other GPS sports watches, I had to look at the Casio Watches application on the phone to do a comparison with the other watches, and it wasn't the most accurate comparison because I was using an app and trying to look at the GPS track and the heart rate for every minute and things like that. Just wasn't working out. Now in the past, Casio had another app that I can't remember the name of it. I didn't use the watches back then, but some of those watches syncs with the other app and it had some better functionality. Now when the Casio Watches app was released, it did provide the Polar background and a bunch of other things, but if you wanted to look and detail all of your runs and other activities, you had to use the app. Everything was closed within the app itself on your phone. Now, the big update is they have now added Strava sync capability to the Casio Watches application. So now you can go into the Casio Watches application, go through a couple of different settings, and then link your Strava account. Now what I found is in the very first time when I did a run and a walk, it didn't sync that data until later that night. So it looked like it was syncing like once a day. Since then, it seems to be a little more frequent than that. So I would count on at least once a day, maybe more, where it will just take you all of that data and sync it right to your Strava account. And then when this data is in your Strava account, you can export those files and then you can do comparisons with other GPS sports watches and things like that. Some people prefer to have something like Strava as their primary service where no matter what kind of activity or watch or device they're using, it syncs to Strava and they have a central database and you can archive that database and things. The one thing with having something like a Casio Watches application is that everything lives in that application and you can't export that, you can't run reports, you can't analyze your training and your performance and your progress. Now, the G-SHOCK HBD-2000 syncs to the Casio Watches app and exports to Strava. Now, since it does export to Strava, I've been running with it for about a week, and in the runs that I've checked, the GPS is actually pretty accurate. It's not to the level of the Garmin with the multi-satellite capability and some of that, but it is pretty accurate. The average, the total distance is very, very close. There's a little bit of sway here and there in some of the lines, but for a recreational athlete, this is a perfectly fine watch. The heart rate monitor isn't the most accurate compared to something like the Apple Watch, which is extremely accurate. If you ever look at the Quantified Scientist YouTube post, you'll see that, but it is pretty accurate. And I have to say, for a recreational person or somebody who loves the Casio G-SHOCK brand, this watch may serve as your only GPS sports watch now with that capability for exporting to Strava. So nice job, Casio. Way to make this watch a bit more compelling. I love that I can just put it on, wear it, and I really don't think about it too much. When I run with it, I do have to charge it, but other than that, it's kind of nice to have a G-SHOCK on the wrist and know that I can see all of my running data. Thanks everybody for watching. Please subscribe because I'm trying to grow this channel. Thanks everybody for watching again, and may the mobile force be with you. Thanks everybody.